guys, welcome to GuitarLessonGuide.com. I'm Brian Walker, and today we're going to be learning a really simple two-chord song. And anybody can learn this, even a beginner. And to make the song even easier, I made some lesson materials for you, and you can go to GuitarLessonGuide.com/two-chord song and download the tab for this lesson, along with chord charts, and I have the strum patterns in the tab. And I'll be referring to lesson exercises in that sheet there, and I also have it available in Guitar Pro 5 format, and you can play that on Tux Guitar or Guitar Pro, but Guitar Pro is $60 and Tux Guitar is free. Alright, but up here on the whiteboard I have our chord charts here, and we have E minor, E little m. So to play E minor, we're going to take fingers 1 and put it on the 2nd fret of the A string or 5 string, and finger 2 and put it on the 2nd fret of the 4 string, and then play the rest of the strings as open. So here's finger 1, and there's finger 2. And you want to get these as close up behind the fret as possible without touching the fret, and of course have a little bit of room down here and don't touch the bottom of the neck. You want a little tunnel there, and you want your fingers to come straight down. And just to make sure that you go ahead and pick all the notes of that chord to make sure that they all ring out, and if they don't, you might not be clasping hard enough or accurately enough here. Your fingers might be too far back, so just bring them up without putting them on the fret, but just right behind the fret. Notice the one finger has to kind of come back just a little bit. So that's alright, that's a compromise we just have to make. And also, this is why you want to have that little tunnel so your fingers come straight down at the fretboard, because if they come down at an angle like this, you're going to be muting the 3 string or G string. So you don't want that. You want your fingers to come straight down so you get every note to sound good. Alright, so there's our first chord, and our second chord we're just gonna, it's called a D6 add 9 over F sharp, but you don't have to know that. You can just know that for extra credit if you want. Just think of it as chord 2 in this song. And we're going to take the 1 finger and move it to the 6th string on the 2nd fret, and the 2 finger and move it to the 3 string on the 2nd fret. So that's going to look like this. Here's our E minor. So we're going to take our 1 finger and move it up 1 string towards the 6th string. And then our 2 finger, we're just going to move it down 1 towards the 3 string. And then we're going to play every single note. And remember, if there was an X on any one of these where the O's are, that would mean you don't play the string. But in this song, we're playing all 6 strings throughout. So that's a nice sounding chord. It kind of has a mystical quality, I think. And again, make sure that your fingers aren't too far back, otherwise you'll get a buzz. So bring them up close. Squeeze with your thumb and your fingers, and make sure your fingers are coming straight down at the fretboard, because just like before, if they're coming like this, you're going to mute strings below the fretted fingers. So those are the 2 chords, and we were just using fingers 1 and 2, but you can also use fingers 2 and 3 for the whole song if that's more comfortable to you. So give that a try too. With fingers 2 and 3, you take finger 2, put it on the 2nd fret of the 5 string, and finger 1 on the 2nd fret of the 4 string. So it's like, yeah, play your E minor like that. That's the way I actually normally play the E minor most of the time, but both of these E minors are very useful. And then you just take your finger 2, just like before, and put it on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, and then you take finger 3 and put it on the 2nd fret of the 3 string. So there's your D6 add 9 over F sharp mystery chord. E minor. So try both of those ways and see which one works easier for you. And I guess for now I'll just use fingers 1 and 2, and I might mix it up a little bit throughout the lesson. And so the first thing we want to do is play a measure of 4/4 time, just with E minor, and then D6 add 9. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just the warm-up. And that's the easiest way to start playing this to time. And next thing you want to do is start playing quarter notes. So that's going to be, I'll count in and play just quarter notes, which means every time I count, I'm going to be strumming down. So it's, I'll count in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, that's playing the quarter notes. And the next part of the exercise, and that was exercise 1 in the tab here. And an interesting thing to note is that in the tab, because the 6th string is at the bottom and the 1 string is at the top in tab, whenever you see an arrow pointing up in the tab, that means you strum down, because it's saying you're going from the 6th string to the 1 string. So that's actually a down strum. So don't let that confuse you in the tab. All right, and the next thing we're going to do is play 8th notes. And these are 8th notes on their own. And to count, and when they're together, they have a horizontal bar across them. And to count 8th notes, you just count every and, because that would make 8 notes per measure. So I'll show you this, starting with E minor, and I'm going to count in now. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. All right, you can always pause and go back and play along with me there. But the important thing about 8th notes is you want to be holding your pick correctly. And of course, that's with a 90-degree angle from the thumb, and the other part of the pick is an extension of the index finger. So it's just like that. And that way the pick points towards the strings when you're strumming. And you just want to have your nice strum going past the strings, maybe 6 inches or so. When you strum like this, your wrist should be loose. And you don't want to be holding on your pick really tight or something, because then your wrist won't be loose. And sometimes you might, when you're practicing this at first, you might lose a pick because you're not quite holding onto it so tight. But eventually you'll get the feel for it. So that's what you want to do, and you want to hit all the strings pretty much at once with an even. If you have trouble with that, and you can't concentrate on the chords and the 8th notes, just take your fingers and lightly place them over the strings. I'm not pressing down at all, just touching the strings. And this way, when you play it, you can focus just on your strumming, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2. Then you can speed it up a little. Whatever you like. And then the last part of this lesson, we're going to be playing a quarter note on the first beat, and then 8th notes starting on beat 2. And that's going to be with E minor. So let me do 4 measures of just on E minor. So get your E minor ready, and I'm going to count in, and we're just going to go, I'll count in going down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's that first measure here. And this one's going to be a little harder. It's what I often call the folk strum. This is an incredibly useful strum, and you know, it might be a little tough at first. So let me show you just using the muted finger technique. And we're going to be doing a phantom strum on the 3rd beat down. We're not going to hit the strings. So that's the big trick to this. The rest of it is just 8th notes, except there's a phantom strum here on the 3rd beat down, because that's a quarter beat on the and of 2, as you can see. So it's going to be down, up, miss, up, down, up, miss, up, down, up, miss, up. And try to practice along to that if you can. And then you'll get your chord 2, D6, add 9 over F sharp ready, and let's try it with that. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, miss, up, down, up. So that's a little tricky, and make sure that you miss on that third beat down. You do not want to stop anytime. Your hand has to just keep swaying to the time, just like in the eighth note. So it's just like the eighth notes, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but we're going to go like this. Down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, miss, up, down, up. Alright, so we can put that together now. We're going to play one measure of E minor and then one measure of D6 add 9 to these rhythm patterns here. And I'm just going to keep playing it for a while and then you can play along with me. So counting in, starting with E minor, first measure. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Let me play it a little bit more up to tempo. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically it there. And you know, this is not set in stone, all of this. You're basically, you have this pattern going and whatever notes you hit at the time, as long as you're in rhythm with this hand, it's going to sound good. So, you know, you might actually on one beat, on one measure, just play down, 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 up on the E minor. So that'd be... If you're with a friend or something, you can jam, you know, just to the E minor pentatonic scale, which is, or way up here, but I'm on this guitar. So if you have any questions about this song, please leave a comment at guitarlessonguide.com/2chord song, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or comments or anything that you have. And I appreciate you guys coming and visiting me, and come back soon. Thank you. Bye.